are here, Marina, Mike, and I, interviewing Fumehood, 4 members of the 6-member Fumehood, who will be playing at Video Underground in JP. That's Friday, November 15th. Late start, 11 o'clock, 11 p.m. So don't worry about being fashionably late. You'll be right on time. I've just got a few questions, and then we'll see what happens. I wanted to start off with what's the first band you guys recall? Or maybe we'll start with you, Nick. What's the first band you recall, like really getting into as a youngster?
Getting into that would have the first CD purchase I ever made from like a Strawberries or maybe like a Tower Records would be Presidents of the United States of America.
Oh yeah.
It was everything to me. That was fantastic.
Do you feel like that first love for like an album, influenced you, and stays with you kind of in your musical explorations?
Well, the passion, sure, but not specifically their music. I mean, I guess I kind of appreciate like the humor that they had in their music. They definitely don't take themselves seriously, and also I think the guitarist played with 4 strings, so whenever I play guitar, I do that as well. So I guess that in that way. But I mean, I don't really think back to them when I'm trying to write or anything.
So we actually talked about this before, because I play the ukulele, and you said at one point you were playing ukulele, and then you went to guitar, but a 4-string version of guitar.
Right, yeah. Well, at that time, we didn't have Jeff on keys, and like once we added keys, the dynamic was better for the ukulele. Like it didn't make sense before, but now it kind of does. So I switched over, and plus I think I was destroying all the guitars that I had.
Oh, so you're actually playing ukulele now?
Definitely not good. Yeah. Awesome. There's a certain amount of tension with the truss rod that you have to counteract with the strings. So,
right.
Yeah.
No, I've heard that.
It was muddy.
Yeah, it was a little muddy.
How about you, Alex? What was your first musical love?
First musical love, or first band that I started?
That you were like crushing on.
I'd say the first concert I ever went to was Marilyn Manson.
Really?
I went with my dad when I was like 13.
Was it his idea or your idea? That's cool if it was his idea.
I think my first musical love was probably in like high school, Ween. I started getting to Ween, and I would say Ween was a big influence. I don't listen to a ton of Ween anymore, but it was definitely an influence in high school and college for sure.
All right. Well, there's a pop angle there, and then your guys' sound is kind of poppy in its way.
Yeah.
Sure. How about you, Jeff?
The first tape I ever got was Coolio, Gangster's Paradise.
Oh yeah.
Nice. So that was a good one, but the first show that I ever went to was Smashing Pumpkins, and I was like heavily into them, going to Strawberries and stuff for years.
Wow.
But this interview is mainly about strawberries.
Yeah, strawberries. Go to Strawberries.
Are they even around anymore?
No, I don't think so.
The second part will be about Blockbusters.
iTunes. Yeah, Blockbusters.
What was your first tape?
I had a tape with...
There's Andy.
I think it was La Bouche. Is that how you pronounce
it?
Yes! It was so good.
Best answer.
And I've always had this affinity towards like dance music, but it's not so present in what we do. I think it's more like Weezer and the Ventures were a big thing, and so like kind of a, I guess, garagey, surfy thing.
And what do you play? Are you the
I play the drums.
You play the drums, all right.
Yeah, we're missing Sage and Matthew.
Yeah.
Sage
and what
is
do they
the singer, and Matthew is the guitarist.
All right.
Yeah.
So.
I forgot, Jeff, what do you play?
I play keys.
Keys.
Yeah.
And Alex,
I played bass.
Bass, okay.
Yeah.
I want you to start contributing more La Bouche elements.
Yeah.
All right.
What song did they do?
I'm trying to remember right now.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, that one is so good. I think that's the only one I know, too, so...
Y'all just played a show at Lily Pad,
Yep.
which unfortunately I walked in too late to hear. But and recently you performed live on ZBC, WZBC College Radio, Boston College, and now we got winter coming on, and it's getting colder. Do you hibernate during the winter, or does winter activate you? Do you become more active in winter?
Well, I think everybody hibernates to an extent. I mean, it's just harder to get out when it's like bitterly cold out. But I become more productive in the sense that I start making more things because I'm less apt to like go out and go to shows or parties.
So it brings on some introversion.
Yeah, for sure.
That drives some of your creative production that way.
Right, absolutely. And I guess it's good for me in a way. I'm going to try to accept the winter fully this year. And
Are you not from around here?
Embrace it. I am, but I'm very begrudging. I don't know. don't enjoy cold.
Fair enough. How about the rest of y'all?
I feel like there's usually more shows in the winter. I don't know why. Like last winter was a big music winter.
Oh yeah.
I remember like
so you're going out a lot
of shows, yeah. And at the time, my other band, me and Nick playing Future Days together, we were starting to play a lot more shows back then. So I'm looking forward to this winter. I don't think it's a bad thing.
No, I love winter.
Yeah.
It's one of my favorite parts of the year.
Get to wear hats.
How about touring in the winter, though? I mean, you guys have a tour plan? When is that? What's up with that?
Well, a lot of the members are going to school, so no tour plans as of yet, really. But
all right.
Jeff and I might do a little two-piece thing called Los Grays. Go on the Grays. Go on a tour in of Massachusetts. Possibly. I don't know. That's up in the air as well.
The Rainbow Kisses tour.
Yeah, Rainbow Kisses tour.
I want to definitely check that out. I want to be on the email list when you guys have that.
All right, absolutely.
Definitely.
All right, then that leads into my next question, which is the most embarrassing or / weird tour moment that for any band that you've been on that you can recall.
I don't know about the weirdest. I guess it's not even really all that weird, but my friend Michael Oakley, who played in the band Awkward Binoculars, he asked me to tour with them, and this is right around the time I took on the Fumehood moniker, and at that point in time it was like experimental noise music, and we toured around Southeast Asia and found ourselves in this like back alley from a back alley in Vietnam, and it was one of the best shows I've ever been to. Most of the shows that we went to on that tour, like, people didn't really know what to make of our music, or like, you know, they're like, that was interesting, but like at this show, like, no one spoke English, but there were all these amazing noise artists in this like converted garage like space, and it got to the point like we were passing around this really cheap bootleg some kind of Rat Poison, and at some point like this old Vietnamese man was singing Don't Let Me Down by the Beatles, that's called. And he like dropped his pants and we all joined him.
You dropped your pants too, or
oh no, we all joined him in song. He was the only one who dropped his pants.
I went there too, by the way, Alex. It was like awesome.
You toured there with Los Grays.
Yeah. It was a lot of fun.
How did you get like roped into that? Who was it who found you guys and said you got to come down these 3 alleys to get to this thing?
Michael set the whole thing up. I have no idea how.
He's still out there in Southeast Asia.
He is. He's living in Thailand right now. He's really good at that sort of thing, just figuring stuff out. Awkward Binoculars, check it out. But yeah, that was a fun time.
Yeah, I heard some of that story before, but it's awesome when things like that happen.
Yeah,
and they seem to happen more often when you're like, you know, out in the world, you know, roaming around, fun, weird things just magnetize.
When there's a language barrier.
Right.
Yeah,
exactly.
that helps a lot.
Yeah.
That helps a lot. All right, so you guys are friends with Colton Leper and Great Valley, right?
We don't know Great. Yeah, we appreciate their music, but
it's a good lineup. I mean, the 3 of you, I listen to the music from your bands, and I'm like, yeah, this is a great lineup.
Yeah, it makes a lot of sense.
Definitely.
Colton Leper, we love though. Those are all great guys.
Definitely, I've seen him around. I didn't realize that was him. Now I know. So that's cool. Yeah, but so Colton Leper, Great Valley, and Fumehood all playing together. Unfortunately, Hubble backed out, but there may be a mystery guest. So the Fumehood name, I have done some work in laboratory, so Fumehood, I know what that is, and maybe you know where did that name come from for you?
I took an intaglio class in college, and at one point we were dropping these zinc plates in an acid bath that was under Fumehood, and the name acid bath is already taken. So, no, actually, I like the ambiguity of those 2 words. Like, hood could be like, you could think of that in a bunch of different ways. I just like the way it sounds off the tongue. I don't know. It's not really significant.
It's more the sound of it and the cool possible symbolic double entendres and whatnot.
Yeah, exactly.
Awesome. All right, here's an offbeat question. What about if you had a round trip free ticket for a weekend that would take you anywhere you wanted to go? What's a place you'd think of going to? And what would be your reason for going there, like your mission?
Oh boy.
It's a tough one.
Go to like Revere Beach.
Revere Beach. And your mission at Revere Beach?
I would go to Kelly's.
I knew that was coming. for a
The original
culinary
Kelly's,
tour.
24/7.
I tried to ride to Revere Beach on my bike. I live up in Medford right now, and I guess I just went east, and just kept going and going, and I never found the beach. I figured that like at some point you'll hit the coast, but it just became like this concrete dystopia of Revere, and then no beach. So don't go to Revere Beach.
It's a huge beach. How did you miss it?
I don't know. The whole coastline all the way down. It's like I gave up and went to a bridal shop instead.
Now I'm
Find directions.
Okay.
Find directions to get married.
Pick something up.
Yeah.
What about
But
you
you,
guys?
Jeff?
Yeah, pretty much anywhere in Route 1.
Route
1 Danvers.
Yeah.
To get pizza.
To go
at
to
the
Christmas
Leaning
tree
Tower.
shop.
There you go. The ship.
Go to the Ferns Motel.
I love the Americana. When I lived overseas, I was kind of jonesing for an Americana. Every time I come back, I'd be like, whenever I saw something, drove along Route 1 or
Just like
something like
endless
that.
strip mall.
Yeah, I would do a
Yeah.
little burst of, my homeland.
Yeah, exactly.
How about which of the songs that you guys have is your favorite? Each one of you, which one is the favorite one that you have?
I like Sunscreen Kiosk.
Okay.
Very likable.
I wrote that song when my mother was giving me a lecture about how I should be thinking about like career and like what I'm doing with my life. I was just kind of like fiddling around on my uke, and it's like, yeah, I know, yeah.
Just not listening.
Yeah. So, I guess, this is kind of cheap because it's the most recent song I've written, but I really like Acquaintances because it's one of the first songs I've written that's like actually about something, and like I wrote it for a specific purpose because I had something that I needed to like express. Usually it's just like, I'm gonna go crazy if I don't write a song, and there's no like there's no reason behind it.
And then you think of a name that kind of comes out of
Yeah, the lyrics are just humorous. Or
this one was inspired.
yeah.
It's a good sounding one. I like that one.
That's also my favorite song.
Oh yeah,
I just love the slowness of it, the tempo. I like the downbeat tempo.
Definitely.
So I enjoy that.
I catch myself getting that stuck in my head the most out of all of them.
Which one?
The same song.
Oh, the same song. Acquaintances. Yeah.
Yeah. I do like Hanuman though. The first time we played that one just felt right, like straight through.
Yeah.
Just felt really comfortable and good.
I'm gonna go with Knob as mine. It's the one that's stuck in my head. Just totally comes. I remember thinking when I heard it again, I thought, that's that song that was in my head all weekend.
It's the only song we're gonna play for the month of December.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Why is that?
It's seasonally
It's
appropriate.
seasonally appropriate.
Oh, yeah.
About
Right.
eggnog, yeah.
It's about eggnog.
Yeah.
I'll have to
It's actually about
revisit that.
sexual perversion, but
Okay, so Dan told me, Nick, that he first encountered you because you were supplying him with art for the Boston Compass.
right.
And so you're actually visual arts, and I can totally see that looking around your room.
Yeah, get some stuff up.
How do you make the art? Are you using a software? I mean, I'm particularly thinking of the art that was on the tape.
On the tape?
Yeah.
No, there was no computers.
So that's just hand drawn.
Yeah.
And the symmetry you do by hand.
Right. Well,
It's a lot of
one
symmetry.
tiny part. The only computer program I've ever used is MS Paint, which.
Oh, so I guessed right.
Yeah, wrong PC instead of Mac. But,
Okay.
But yeah, no, MS Paint I love. There's a tool where it's a zoom tool.
Yeah.
And then you can like work in pixels.
Yeah.
And then I would copy and paste and create patterns through that.
Yeah.
But other than that, I don't use computers for anything.
Oh.
I use a light table to do the symmetry. So I'll make half of an image
And then you
flip it.
Oh, yeah,
And so
okay.
that's how most of my stuff gets made.
That's
through
awesome.
that. And I do a lot of collaging, or I'll doodle endlessly for like a couple months, and then cut them all up and arrange them into a giant collage.
Is this a passion that predates your musical work, or
They kind of,
doing
well,
this since you were a
yes,
kid?
because when I was like, 5 or whatever, I used to draw Ren and Stimpy all the time. So yeah, it does predate music,
Okay.
I guess.
Okay. When I saw your art, what occurred to me, because there's a lot of detail in it, and there's a lot of kind of absorption, obviously, that's inherent to the work, and that reminded me kind of stoner art. And so I asked you this question by email: what do you think of LSD art? And guys like Alex Gray, H.R. Giger, Dali, and there's a whole long list of these guys who will trip and then do art.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's also stoner art, which is not LSD but other drugs like marijuana or whatever that cause people to also become absorbed in the process that they're in. Are you influenced by that much?
Well, I'm not necessarily influenced by those artists. Like, I don't particularly care for Alex Gray, but I am all for people taking drugs to make art. I think it's totally fine and it can be very beneficial a lot of the time. Yeah, I mean, it opens you up to seeing things that you don't normally see. And although I wouldn't know myself, I've heard that often like patterns will come forth that have been found in traditional art forms, like from hundreds and hundreds of years ago. So
Sure.
It's almost like there's something.
Aboriginal art has this quality about it as well, and
Yeah.
that's kind of cool stuff.
Yeah.
All right, moving along. This is a big old house that we're living in, that you guys are living in. How many of you guys are living here? Jeff? You're
Just
living
Jeff
here?
and I.
Nick, yeah.
Okay, so you guys are living here. But it's a big house full of artists and musicians,
Yeah.
well known in the scene. And I wanted to ask you about, how the experience of living in this kind of environment, has that affected you, philosophically? Has it changed the way you see the world?
Yeah, I mean, what do you think?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, this house has been so beneficial for me, and just I don't know what the way I see the world, but it's been like super inspiring. And like I went for like a long dry spell without doing any work really before coming here, but like living with like guys like Nick and then Pat and Joe, who do like LSTV.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's been amazing. And
Well, I
like,
hope to
in turn-
interview at some point soon.
Yeah,
You
you definitely
should.
should.
Yeah.
They're
You
awesome.
should do it tonight.
Yeah, do it.
Let's get him
I'm
up
exhausted.
here.
I just had Hasselfest. Come on.
Yeah.
I need a little recovery.
Yeah.
But that's coming, definitely.
I'd say the same. Like, it definitely spurs me on to keep working, seeing everybody else doing such awesome things, and also it makes it being forced to deal with other people makes you a better person, because you can't be selfish. You're gonna do your dishes. And
Yeah.
that sort of thing.
Yeah. No, I live in a big old house too, and yeah, there's a growing aspect to living amongst your fellow humans that
Yeah.
you have to go through, I think. So if you were, this is a funny question. All right, on the philosophical tip, if you were smoking a pipe and chatting up some gal at a party, what philosopher would you pontificate on? You guys read any philosophers that you're into?
Well, I would never do that because I'd probably just come off as an idiot. But I don't have much of a background in philosophy. I guess most of the philosophers that I gravitate towards are like not necessarily religious, but have Buddhist tendencies. Like I really like Alan Watts or Aldous Huxley or J. Krishnamurti, people like that.
Who was the guy who wrote Siddhartha? That was German fellow.
Hermann
Hesse.
Hermann
Right,
Hesse,
right.
yeah.
Are there any words that, if you could use that word to fairly describe a song that exists, that would be a great indicator that you would like that song, you would love that song, because it has this quality?
Mm-hmm. I would say no, just because I feel like that's the difference between words and music, is that music can convey a feeling that words don't express. And like I saw the Secret Lover interview, and I agree. Like, would they say earnestness? Like,
Yeah.
being earnest.
Sincerity.
That's sincerity, and that's extremely important for music. But at the same time, I can think of tons of bands that obviously like care for what they're doing, but I just don't like it. So I would have to say no. It'd have to be several words, maybe.
But in those cases where you don't like their music, but they're totally sincere, it's sort of somehow endearing, right?
For sure.
Even
for sure.
just that sincerity, you forgive them a lot.
Oh yeah, and I
Just
would be their
that's-
friends, but I'm not necessarily going to spin the record.
Right.
I mean, no offense to all the sincere musicians out there.
How about you, Alex? You got a word?
Well, I was just thinking of like the Shags that couldn't even play their instruments, but their music is so sincere.
Yeah.
Oh
It's
yeah,
like
in that case.
so
yeah.
primitive and real.
They're incredible,
I was
yeah.
gonna say maybe moist. Everyone hates
Moist
the
is
word
an
moist.
awesome word.
Moist is like a great word to describe music.
It totally is, and that's one of those words that if you're tripping, that word will just revolve around.
Moist.
Yeah.
You say it
It's a
till it
great
doesn't
word.
make sense anymore.
Yeah, exactly. How about you, Jeff?
Oh man, I don't know. The word that came up in my mind, bubbly, but then I think of bubbly and that can be just like, I don't know. I've just like, I really like
Effervescent.
synthesizer.
How about that one? Does that work?
Effervescent, yeah.
It's kind of like bubbly.
Yeah, no, bubbly, that makes me think of a certain type of synth sound. That's
Yeah,
just so
mainly
good.
just like thinking about like synth and just like long, like drony arpeggiated kind of shit.
Oh, okay.
I don't know.
If we found that one perfect word, though, then I'd probably name my band that word.
Oh,
yeah.
Drop out a Fumehood and
Yeah.
start a band with that name.
Start moist.
Yeah.
Andy, how about you? Got a word? A mantra? Drives
I've
with
been drawn to, I don't know why, but it keeps coming up when people are describing a kind of music that I like. It's always bittersweet sentiment.
Oh, yeah.
Which is like, I feel like it's just a certain chord progression that I'm just so into, but I don't know what the chord progression is. It's just what it's described as.
So if something has that bittersweet emotional quality to it, you find yourself.
Yeah, it's like there's only one composer that I really know because I feel like all of the music that he plays is in, but it's probably just C major or something like that. But it's always described as bittersweet sentiment. All of his music.
Someone told me once, I remember in high school, that the different keys have like emotional characters, and you know, particularly if you want to convey a particular emotion, you might choose this key or that key. You know, there's certain definitely.
Yeah.
So maybe it's a particular key that is like, you know, playing on your
I
heartstrings.
gotta find it though.
Yeah.
I just gotta just play it over and over.
In medieval times, they used to think that like minor chords were satanic.
Oh yeah, I
Which
can
is
dig
pretty
that.
awesome.
Yeah.
We use a lot of minor.
Awesome. What are some cool musical instrument ideas or items that may have totally absorbed you when you discovered them? And I wrote this question obviously when you told me about your 4-string guitar idea.
Yeah.
But how about, are there any other ones that you remember from your explorations as a young person with music, that grabbed your attention?
Being younger, like
Or now, if there's some new tech thing that you were like, oh my god, and it was last week, and now you're completely transformed.
I just got this like sampler. It's like a drum machine sampler, so it's kind of opened my world up in terms of like just being able to sample any different sound and sequence it. But yeah, that, and then the Juno.
The Juno 6.
The Juno's crazy. That thing, like, I feel like it's like a part of me.
That's your favorite keyboard, I guess.
It's my only keyboard.
It's your only
really,
keyboard.
But
So you
yeah.
found your true love keyboard-wise.
Mm-hmm.
yeah, definitely.
That's awesome.
And that contributes to our sound quite a bit. We're all about that thing. It's a cream puff.
It's like the 808 for early techno.
Yeah, exactly.
I would say like in high school, like an early instrument that I really kind of changed my perspective of how I wrote music was like the old Casio SK7 that my friend Jim used to like circuit bend, and like we got into that shit, and just like using the primitive like sampler from that SK7 was
Toy music sound kind of
kid.
thing.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah, circuit bending in general was.
But I don't know how to circuit bend.
Yeah,
we used
I know.
to just break a ton of
We were.
I don't
just
even know what
experiment-
circuit. Tell me what circuit bending is. I don't know.
Opening up consumer electronics, and you can either make actual connections with a soldering iron and some wire, or you can just wet your fingers and touch it, and you create your own connections, and you override. Yeah, you can override
Don't
whatever.
do it to it,
Yeah, don't do it to a plugged-in keyboard. It has to have batteries.
Don't try this at home, kids.
But that was just.
Or definitely try this at home with your battery gear.
Yeah, do it.
Because before that, it was kind of like you're stuck in this like guitar center shaped box where it's like what's provided to like people tell you what kind of music you should be making, and they provide you with the instruments, and then like finding out that you could take a speak and spell and turn it into like a fucking violin.
Yeah.
It was like it meant so much.
It's
to
all
us.
about the mind that goes into it. Really.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I've seen Bird Organ take a guitar and just do all the wrong things and make wonderful stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Andy, how about you?
The delay pedal. Any delay is just the most. The first thing that I was attracted to was the delay. Like how there's nothing that can make a sound bloom like a delay.
Yeah.
It just doesn't have to stop. It can go on forever. What other piece of gear do you need? And then you turn it, and then it changes pitch, and the delay changes. It's just beautiful.
So, how about Boston? Would you live somewhere else? I mean, do you love it here? Or would you be like, I mean, I know you've lived, you know.
Yeah, I've moved around. I think about it a lot. I kind of have wanderlust. I probably will at some point. I do love Boston, but it's just like incredibly expensive.
Yeah.
And the environment of the colleges makes for a lot of entitled people that aren't nice.
Yeah.
But I mean,
I worked door at the Hasselfest, so I know this.
yeah, yeah.
It's very much a brunch community. I went to breakfast with my parents this morning. We went to like 6 different restaurants and we couldn't find a place because everyone was going to brunch.
Yeah.
It doesn't say a lot about Boston, but
Yeah. But I think what really keeps me here is the music community and my friends. Like,
Yeah.
you know, if it weren't for that, I probably would go find somewhere cheaper.
I honestly don't know that well the music community in other places in the world, but it seems to me, with the little experience I have this feeling that it's actually really good here in Boston.
Yeah.
And in Massachusetts, you got the whole Western scene. And
Exactly. It's very.
part of me doing this whole thing is to get to know more about what's going on in my backyard musically.
Cool.
So,
I think it's great. That's part of the reason I'm staying in Boston. But
Yeah.
yeah, I'd like to eventually branch out to another city.
go see what the world is.
Yeah, exactly.
All right. I'm coming close to the end here. Have you guys been playing in bands like your whole lives? How long y'all been in the band business?
I've been in band since I was a freshman in high school.
In different incarnations.
I think we should all just in a line list off every band name.
Yeah.
It's hilarious.
Yeah,
It'll
we
probably
can
be
say that.
hilarious.
I just want to know
Really
names.
All right, I can remember them all. I played with Jeff Slocum. We played in a band that started before me, but I jumped on that boat too. Called Ramrod. It was named after the gay bar down the road.
Oh, yeah,
We'd
yeah.
only play at his. The only place we ever played was at his. He worked at a summer camp, and at the end of the year, we went to the summer camp and performed, and I told everyone I was the drummer from Nickelback. And I signed like tons and tons of autographs, and the kids were lining up, and then like one of the parents was talking.
Does
to
he
Jeff.
look a little like you, that guy? The drummer from Nickelback?
Yeah. It's like probably
I don't know.
They
what
fell
looks
for it.
like.
Awesome.
Yeah, so I have no idea. I don't even know what he looks like. But
That's why you were
a
recruited
parent
to play
came
Fumehood.
and talked to Jeff and said, "I can't believe you got Nickelback's drummer. Like, how did you do that?" And he was so excited about it. And I don't know. It's like I actually really just wrote my autograph. Just stupid.
You just wrote
'cause now-
Nickelback.
I wrote Nickelback. I think I wrote like either my name or it's a Nickelback drummer or something like that. So that was a beautiful
That's
thing.
the
like-
drummer's name, actually.
and so all the kids.
Andy Nickelback drummer.
Yeah, exactly. It was beautiful, and that I've never worn makeup until that day, and it was a beautiful day.
It was a beautiful thing.
I never went back since
The
then.
boosh,
Yeah,
makeup.
right. You can see a trend here.
Ramrod.
Yeah. And other than that, we did Hypnic Jerk was in a bigwig thing. I used to live in this house too, and it's just it's a family, and it just runs and runs. Everyone that lived in here when we initially moved in comes back every year. I think we saw everyone this past month. So
shuffling band members around is really easy in this scene that you guys are in, right?
For sure, yeah.
And it's no stress. People come up with an idea and say, "Hey, let's do this."
Yeah, exactly.
Boom.
Yeah. People are willing to help out.
That's awesome.
Let's see, I was in Emu, which was a terrible name for a band because we were kind of emo. So I don't know why the hell we thought
in
that
that
was
particular
good.
case, yeah.
Yeah. And then that turned into Ack Attack, and then Gold Bears Skateboards.
Is that one band, Gold Bear Skateboards?
Yeah, we never
/
decided on it.
Skateboards?
Gold Bear Skateboards.
Oh, yeah.
And then Pollen Line, Angelic Grit.
Which is a good band.
Angelic Grits with an S. Sorry.
It's a good band name.
Yeah.
That is a good band.
We should bring it back. And then Hypnic Jerk I played with for a little while. And then I think Pollen Line. I mean, Fumehood. Fumehood after that. I'm pretty sure that's it. What
Yes,
about
man. Got a long list.
Yeah, kind of long. I think one of the first ones I was in was me and my friend Jamie that I grew up with. We had this like rap project called 15 Flying Flamingos, which was ridiculous.
No, it's great.
It was really bad, but
Was it underground rap? What sort of rap was it?
I don't know. We were probably like 14 and just like I had like this like pre-programmed effects pedal that had these like drum loops on it and just like played bass to it. I don't think we ever actually rapped over it, but we were planning on it.
Oh, okay.
But I did that, and then I did this like screamo band, Content's Hot, and then later, like in high school, did Post Manatee, and Rupert Luce with my friend Dylan, who's in the area and plays in a band
Rupert
here.
has a
Rupert Luce.
Rupert Luce. What's that from? That name?
I don't know. I just kind of made it up. It's just
That's a good sound.
It sounded right.
Kind of sounds like Rupert Murdoch.
Yeah.
Rupert Luce. Like if you set him loose.
I've been in a lot of bands that last like a month, but Blackout, Seldom Blue. Seldom Blue, the guitarist was the guy from Boston's Son. So it's like Luke Goudreau, Barry Goudreau's son. Hope he's not watching this. Pretty Headdress. Did I already say Baby Party?
No, Baby
I was in
Party.
Baby
like
Party.
That's a
Space Bums, Future Days.
Golden Retriever.
Golden
all
Retriever.
the same band.
Yeah, all the same band. And then I currently play in Future Days with Nick too.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'll have to check you guys out. Well, if you want to check out Fumehood, and I encourage you to do that, and Mystery Guest, and Great Valley, and Cult and Leper, then come to Video Underground at 11 o'clock on Friday, the 15th, November 15th. Hope to see you all there.
See you guys.
Bye.
Thank you.